the very first youth trip that I ever went on, seventh grade, we had just started going to the church that we were going to at the time, and we went to the Keys. And during that trip, one of the amenities that they had there at our campsite was a couple of sunfish little sailboats. And while other things were going on, I remember getting with a couple of friends, uh, John and Shirley, and we went over to one of those little sailboats and thought, hey, let's take it out. So we jumped in and hoisted the sail, and off we went. And it was a great time for a while until such time as we decided, okay, we've had enough of the sun. It's time for lunch. Want to go back, and we couldn't. The wind was blowing out, and we would try and turn the boat, and it would just do these circles further and further out to sea, and we're getting more and more distraught. The shore is getting further and further away, and we're beginning to think, what are we going to do? Are we just going to abandon this boat and swim to shore before we get swept out to sea? And thankfully, at some point, my older brother, as was maybe a trend when we were younger, would realize that I was off, gone, probably doing something stupid, and got one of the counselors, one of the leaders there, and they got in a motorboat and went out looking for us. And then off in the distance, there they were. They came and they rescued us and towed us back to shore. And then when they walked away, a couple of friends of mine, we turned the boat upside down by accident, and the stupidity continued. But my life was saved, and I didn't get swept out to sea. You know, how do we, when we're carried away by the wind and the current, how do we turn around? And sometimes when we don't anticipate it and we're swept out, it takes a brother to come out after us and to bring us back in. But how do we prevent it? And I read this morning Proverbs chapter 3. I'll read verse 19 to 23, but I really want to key on 21, second half of 21. The Lord by wisdom founded the earth. By understanding, he established the heavens. So it's for us to consider the mode of creation, how things fit together, and from that learn something about the order of our lives and something about the God who made them. By his knowledge, the deeps were broken up, the skies drip with dew. My son, let them not vanish from your sight. Keep sound wisdom and discretion, so they will be life to your soul and adornment to your neck. Then you will walk in your way securely, and your foot will not stumble. Then you will walk in your way securely, and your foot will not stumble. Keep, like a guard, keep sound wisdom and keep discretion. Or you might say, anticipate and deviate before you walk into something. Or the final recourse is pain, where you reflect and repair yourself in your way. So we want to anticipate and deviate. We want to keep sound wisdom and discretion. But we don't so often. And it's more like this. Imagine you wake up and you realize someone had some disagreement with you, and you're upset with them, and you quickly pull yourself together, grab your keys, you get out to your car, and you drive to their house, bang on their door. They come to the door, and I can't believe you said that. I can't believe you did that thing. And they're just waking up like, okay, what in the world? And you're all disheveled. You're interrupting them in their day. And it's just this flurry of emotion and words just being thrown up on the other person. And you don't really have to imagine. We can just flip through Facebook or Twitter, social media. And I think about 2nd and 3rd John, those little books that are neglected so much. And you'd think they'd be read more because it's a short one. Hey, I completed a whole book, and it's like a paragraph. But I like at the end how he says, I have more to say to you, but I don't want to do it with pen and ink. So I'll come to you soon, and we'll speak face to face. And how often is it better? So much is better in person. So much is better dealt with that. It encourages humility. And that's two things that I want us to remember. Humility and the gospel. One, that we could be wrong. I don't have every perspective. Doesn't Jesus give us a parable about, making sure to make things right with, someone else, and that you maybe have a suit against, lest you go to court and then you lose and then they throw you in jail and you're shamed and all of that. It's better to just handle your dispute privately in person, because you might be wrong. And then what? So humility first, and then most importantly, the gospel is, everything comes back to the gospel. Am I causing an unnecessary stumbling block to someone else? Is it something I can overlook? And then is it on display in front of the whole world? And I'm ruining my testimony. I'm adding to the flurry of words instead of being more measured and considering how is this necessary or not. Is this because some things are necessary, some things are, a lot are not. And wisdom and discretion are the means of navigating those waters. So we're not carried away out to sea and then left circling, oh no, what are we going to do? We're getting swept out, and needing a brother or sister to come and help bring us back. So wisdom discerns what is right, the point that we've aimed at, the right port that we're going to, and discretion is then wisdom turning attention to how we get there. Wisdom discerns what is right. I think of Solomon as I'm thinking about wisdom and discretion, and when that complaint was brought to him that seemed impossible to discern. You have two people have opposing views of something. How are you going to decide which is right? And he had a method of discerning both the truth and then the way to go about delivering that truth and rendering as king his justice there. But wisdom discerns the truth, the point. It sticks to the port aimed at to arrive there, and then it puts on the hat of discretion. Wisdom wears the hat of discretion. It cuts through the clamor, identifies the truth of what is right, and then wears the hat of discretion. It has a care, looks about, and understands the best delivery. And here I picture Robert Downey Jr.'s Sherlock Holmes. I like the other one better, the Cumberbatch one, but I for this moment I'm picturing everything in that moment when it's trying to depict his observation. And the camera stops, and what the focal point is in this person in front of him, how in the world is he going to handle this? All of a sudden it moves, and you see some of what his mind is taking in, all these other variables that will allow him to achieve the goal that he's aimed at, that he's taking all of these things into account. So the most direct route might not be the most productive, and it would fail, even though that he's kind of right to do this. So that's what I'm picturing. Wisdom, identifying the truth, but then having a care, putting on the hat of discretion to realize that there's other things involved here, and what is the best route there. So how, when, and where is the stuff of discretion. The tone, time, and the place. So let's keep our eyes fixed on the right aim and have a care. Use wisdom and discretion, and maybe a little less digital ink. But pray that you may be active in sharing your faith, and I will catch you all in the next video.